The upcoming series Cobra Kai, based on characters from the Karate Kid films. So that launches May 2nd on YouTube Red. And also, you got a guest appearance on Kevin Can Wait with Kevin James.
Oh, yeah, we just
You're
finished
doing
it.
that as well?
I did that. That was just aired.
All right,
recently.
so Ralph joins us here. What's the reaction on the street? If we walked out right now, within 5 blocks, what am I hearing?
Well, reaction what? For the new shows
No,
coming
just
out
you.
or just me?
Just you.
Get out of my way. Who are you? No. I think the reactions, you've been around, I've been around long enough in different areas. So I get, I'll get a nice broad spectrum of ages. I get kids that parents made them watch some of my movies, or kids that read The Outsiders, see that film.
Yeah.
I'll get the Stay Gold Pony Boys shout outs. I'll get the, Paint the Fence.
Oh.
I'll get the Wax Ons. I'll get them a body bag and all that stuff that you guys probably talk about constantly.
I know.
Or open your show with.
Oh yeah.
Maybe just a hunch.
We've been known to do that.
But usually a pretty warm embrace.
But
So
it's a compliment that they're saying, and
yes.
I know you.
Yes.
I know you get tired of it, or how do I respond to the 97,000th time that somebody gets in doing the crane or something?
Making them feel that it's they're the first ones who came up with it. I think I'll say this much. Now as I get older, or shall I say, as I look younger, or try to, I embrace it more and more because you sign up for that. And the concept that, say, speaking of the Karate Kid and all this with the Cobra Kai series coming out, the fact that it's 34 years ago and people still have an opinion on it and want to talk about it or make videos about, was the crane kick an illegal move, and should is John justice for Johnny, or is without Miyagi is he really anything? And he was my inspiration. The fact that is a relevant conversation, who would not sign up for that 34 years later?
But it feels
it's a
like
great thing.
Mr. Miyagi is Belichick,
right?
And Daniel-san is Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Have you heard that analogy?
No, and I
Okay.
enjoy it. And I'm married to a model now. And as Tom Brady, no, I'm saying I'm going to Tom Brady. No, I'm married to the greatest woman on
Would
the
you have
planet.
been anything without Mr. Miyagi?
Would Daniel LaRusso
Yes.
or would Ralph Macchio?
Would Daniel LaRusso?
That's a great question because we could all use our little human Yoda to guide us through adolescence and life. I think what Daniel LaRusso has become in those films, and now what happens to him in Cobra Kai, I would say he's a far better man, husband, father because of the Miyagi influence. And that's part of the arc in Cobra Kai. When we first meet Daniel LaRusso 30 years later, he has that void in his life. Miyagi's been gone for 8 years. Martial arts is not quite in his life anymore. He's got a great family, successful car. He's the auto king of the San Fernando Valley. Everything looks fantastic, but as Miyagi would say, not everything is as seems.
But Johnny is in this too.
Johnny is in this too. William Zabka brings Johnny Lawrence. I mean, the concept for the show, it's a rivalry series. These guys have not seen each other since the infamous crane kick. And Johnny Lawrence has lived every day. That crane kick to Johnny Lawrence was probably the best thing that happened to him in the last 30 years, where LaRusso's life has gotten quite good, and he's been quite successful and has a wonderful marriage and all this, and so it's the juxtaposed lifetime after 30 years. Daniel has moved on, and Johnny's lives every day in that.
Does he still want a piece of you?
Yes, he totally wants a piece of him. But what he basically does is he opens the Cobra Kai dojo, which for LaRusso is not over my dead body. This is never, and he did flashbacks to Daniel getting his ass kicked over and over again, and he can't allow this to come into the community. And so they rub each other. They're each other's kryptonite. They rub each other the wrong way. And therein lies some of the humor in the fact that you have these guys in their 50s who still have this high school rivalry.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole new next generation, these great the high school world that hopefully will make the show relevant to today's audience, as well as the nostalgia and hat tipping to what we all grew up with.
What was that script like when you first saw Karate Kid? What'd you think?
I thought it was kind of corny. I thought it was And at that time, I was pretty young and just coming into it, so it wasn't like I was a seasoned veteran of
Now, you had done The Outsiders.
I'd done The Outsiders, yes.
Okay.
So I and a few things before that, but The Outsiders was sort of the big break, and then Karate Kid took it to another level. I thought it was. I thought that the Miyagi-Daniel relationship was, and it's interesting. They always spoke about Toshiro Mifune or some great Akira Kurosawa's kind of Japanese actor coming in. And, Daniel Satsumi, big fence, it's like. And so it was a whole other thing. And when Pat Morita came in the room, and was perfect in every possible way, that chemistry was just spectacular.
Who were you up against for that role?
Charlie Sheen was around. Downey Jr. was around. I think they found me early. They found me early in New York. I read with John Avildsen, who just passed away recently. Sad, so some of these guys are not seeing this resurgence now. But I read with John. That video of me reading with John is on YouTube. You could see that on YouTube. My first cold reading and Pat's first cold reading separately, and he sort of edited them together. It's really fascinating because it's basically they handed me the script. I read the scene with the director, and you could watch that on YouTube, and you see that kid. Like, you see the role. It's not like, okay, then we had to take it here.
When did your life change with that movie?
When soon after the movie came out.
Was it a hit right away?
It was a sleeper hit, but it was the talked about. Going to a mall on a Saturday became less of a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Once, that was the biggest thing I noticed, when I could just go to the mall and hang out on a Saturday, and all of a sudden 2 weeks later I went to the mall, and it was no fun being at it was just, it was another thing. It was fun at the onset, and then it became,
Did you realize Elizabeth Shue was going to turn into Elizabeth Shue?
You never know that. You never know that you're working with someone who's going to be nominated for an Oscar for leaving Las Vegas. I mean, you just don't know that. I didn't know Pat Morita was going to be nominated for an Oscar for Mr. Miyagi.
That's
when we were doing it, it felt great.
Crazy.
And it's just wonderful. And
what do you have for the movie? What'd you say besides the trophy?
I have the headband, which I just brought onto the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. It was fun. Last week.
You put it on.
I put it on. I did. I went all in for the Tonight Show. It was fun, and he was great. He was great. We had a great time, and I have the '47 Ford convertible. I have the wax on, wax off car. Yeah. So I just hoard all the stuff.
That's great, though, that they.
I have a can of tuna fish from my cousin Vinny. That's all I got. I stole a can of tuna. I'm not going to open that can of tuna since that was 1992. The Outsiders, I have my sneakers and my
your leather jacket.
It was a denim jacket.
Denim jacket. Did you have like Chuck Taylor Converse? What were your shoes?
They were Converse.
They were Converse. Yeah. Low cut.
Yep.
Did you know my cousin Vinny? Like, you read that script,
right?
Because you don't get the juicy lines.
No, I didn't. I was my cousin Vinny was funny on the page, funnier on the screen. That was one of the most well-crafted American comedy scripts as far as setups, payoffs, and all. Every setup paid off better than you knew it was coming, and it was even better.
But people didn't know Pesci was capable of being funny like that.
Funny, haha, funny. Yeah. You just threw me a beach ball.
I know.
Middle in.
I know. And Marissa Tomei was
a breakout.
Just spectacular.
Spectacular performance. And all the other, Fred Gwynn. Fred Gwynn, and that was his last performance.
Yeah. He was Herman Munster.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
I remember Joe saying, he goes, he was, at first Joe was like, I don't know if he's right. I don't know. He's like Herman Munster. I said, I'm the Karate Kid. You're a wise guy. Just let it go. He's perfect.
But
and just them holding them in the same frame was hilarious.
You Utes, though.
The two Utes,
you still get that.
Yeah,
right?
All the time.
But it's so
awesome.
It's so great.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I did not shoot the clerk. I've actually signed cans of tuna for people. People have brought me cans of tuna, and they said, "Would you sign?" I shot the clerk, and I said only if I could put a question mark after it, because that's one of the things when we shot that film. We went on and on. We reshot that scene, because the studio wanted it to be a question yet a statement. That was like the toughest acting exercise I ever had, to say I shot the clerk,
so
make
your
it a
confession
question.
Scene.
Right, right.
Okay.
And so that was, it's fun to reminisce about that. Yeah, you look at those Outsiders and Karate Kid.
But when you pause, if I saw Karate Kid or my cousin Vinny, like you're going through the TV.
Right.
And if you see it,
right.
which one are you stopping to watch?
Of all of those,
Just those two.
That's a good one. And my kids would say My Cousin Vinny because they love that film.
What's their reaction to Karate Kid and My Cousin Vinny?
Well, that was, it's not Geek Dad. That was that guy before they were born. I always joke about my son finding all the Tiger Beats and Teen Beats that my mom saved, and he comes in and yells to my daughter. My daughter's name's Julie. He goes, "Jewel, Dad was huge, and we missed it."
Yeah, you were a hot teen back then,
I guess
right?
there was a time. There was a time.
Yeah.
But and answering your question, I guess right now with the Cobra Kai stuff and the resurgence of the Karate Kid and what that means to America and the world, I would probably stop to watch because I don't watch it. I don't watch it that often. But there are moments in that movie that I just think are beautiful, and so if it's the right moment, I'll stop to watch.
See, I would have taken the house, Mr. Miyagi's house,
Right.
over the car.
The house, interesting story. The house, after shooting the first movie, the studio didn't have the wherewithal to say, let's purchase this house. Because when we went back for part two, after the second one, the house was gone. So they had to rebuild the house on the Warner Brothers ranch.
Wait, where was the house?
It was somewhere in the middle of the San Fernando Valley.
So, did they steal the whole house or knock it down?
I think they knocked it down.
Oh my
I think
God.
they didn't know about it. And but all this stuff, and the one cool thing about the Cobra Kai series is that stuff over the course of season one and hopefully many seasons to come, we see those places.
Is it a dark comedy at all?
No. It's a dramedy, there are real moments of heart, soul, nostalgia, all this stuff that the Karate Kid had. But the humor, it's a more contemporary. It's more humor for relevant times, more humor for 2018. So it has kick-ass fight scenes. It has humor just based on the fact that these guys in their 50s will not let it go. It's just
Was that kick illegal though?
I don't think it was illegal. Listen, look at the elbow to the knee right before that. I mean, it was an injury.
I know he was dirty.
Don't get me started
but
now,
you
Dan.
won.
Do not get me
Ralph,
started.
I'd like to know if karate experts commented on this. It just felt like it might have been a little dirty.
Yeah, well, listen.
You were better than that.
I was better than that?
Yes, I think so.
But it's the one move that he taught me. I got one superpower.
No, I know.
So you got to use it.
Do you like playing a little darker role in the Deuce?
Yeah.
Because I think people see you and you have a great image attached to you.
Right.
And now the Funny or Die thing.
That was a good one.
Wax on, F off.
Yeah, that was thank you. Give it up for that.
That was spectacular.
That is still the gift that keeps on giving. That was when the remake was put together. They were coming out with this remake. I was trying to sell two shows one behind the camera, one in front of the camera, and both of them did not move forward. And I'm sitting, I said, I cannot watch this remake come out without doing something.
Yeah.
Not that I was against the remake or rooting against it. It only helped the legacy of the whole thing. And so I went to Todd Holland, this great single camera director who I've worked with and developed with before. And the lines like "I'm not Chachi, MFer" and all that stuff. That stuff I had in my back pocket. And I said, let's do something where it's an intervention on me being way too good a guy, where my own kids are trying to mess me up so I'd be relevant. And he loved it, and we walked into Funny or Die, and I said, here's the title. I didn't even get the third word out, and they're like, where and when? And it was just when Funny or Die was just starting.
Now, Will Ferrell didn't help with this, did he?
No. But the guys at Funny or Die, Mike Farrow, who runs it over there, and all the writers were just like jumping at the thing. And I think I believe that the Brockmire. I know Hank is a fan of your show, and I think Brockmire just broke that. And I think one of the guys who worked on that came on to punch up our.
Did it change Hollywood's image of you at all?
Probably not. But I think. I would say I gained a decent amount of respect for poking fun of myself in what I think was a kind of cool way on my terms, And but as far as just saying, boy, let's now now let's make him a dirty action hero. I don't think that's I don't think that's happening. But
the Deuce is dark.
The Deuce is great. The Deuce is very dark, and it's fun to play a guy like that. Even the role in Kevin Can Wait was just a jerk, and it was. I said to Zapka the other day, "Why don't you tell me? This is awesome, being a jackass. This is perfect."
What do you think, Zapka? So Johnny is one of the great villains of all time.
Yes.
Does he embrace being a villain?
He doesn't look at it that way, and he does. It's really he's so wonderful in the Cobra Kai show. He really is, because you see the entrance into the show. Into the Karate Kid universe in 2018 is now through the eyes of Johnny Lawrence, from the point of that kid where his life has been, and you learn of his backstory. LaRusso, you have a decent amount of his backstory, and then it becomes sort of a dual protagonist, dual antagonist series with the, like I said, with the young high school world as part of it as well. He, his theory, it's like Miyagi would say, right? No such thing as bad student, only bad teacher. So that's his theory. He had a bad teacher. He came from a broken family, but by opening Cobra Kai up again and believing in the best defense is more offense, and strike first and call me later, it's still a crooked kind of negative type of martial art. So he believes in it, yet he's trying to help the nerds and geeks that society today has so pampered. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody,
I know.
That whole thing. So he's all against that. And that's kind of fun, but Billy, comes from the human side. You have to when you create characters. He just can't be all bad or all good.
And I'm sure he's getting one line when people see him.
I don't know. That's a question for him. That's going to change in about a week.
Good,
because this show really opens up the world for both characters, and you bop between the two, and it's very entertaining and exciting, and the fans are going to love that there's even shots in the show and flashbacks that are scenes we shot in the movie, famous scenes from the movie in '84 that are using different camera angles to portray them now.
Cool.
They went back to the Columbia archives and got footage, and so the nerds are going to have a blast with that.
He's Ralph Macchio, and you'll be able to see him in Cobra Kai. It launches May 2nd on YouTube Red. Also, Officer Haddix and HBO's The Deuce. Thanks for being a great sport.
Oh, man, it's awesome.
And we appreciate it when you send in the picture of the trophy. Now, the trophy is in one of your kids' rooms?
It's in my son's room right now.
Okay. That's a big trophy.
It's a big trophy.
Now, that was not just South Valley. That was all Valley.
That was all Valley.
All Valley.
And under 18, though.
Oh, it was under 18,
yeah,
I
never won anything once I passed 18. I played 18 for 27 years.
Do you have any other trophies?
Do I have any trophies? I had them from Little League. Back then, I'm sure they're next to the box of stuff that my mom gave with all the...
But you kept that one.
Yeah, that one I kept.
But we have to put that in a safe place, though. Don't you have to put it like in the Smithsonian?
Listen, from your
Has anybody ever asked for that trophy?
No. One thing I've been asked for a lot is I did this film called Crossroads, and I played guitar, and I had I kept the yellow Telecaster.
Ooh.
And there's been a lot of musicians that would love to have that guitar.
But you couldn't really play the guitar, right?
No, I faked the guitar.
You did.
Just like I faked the karate and everything else.
You couldn't do anything karate-wise?
No, that's untrue. That's untrue. What I did well is in the movie. What I didn't do well never made it in the movie. And that's the same. It's that same thing in my 50s in Cobra Kai.
I love that.
Oh, man.
Cobra Kai, May 2nd on YouTube Red. He's Ralph Macchio.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.